is Friday, October 10th. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We just got set up for our first hunt. I had a coon come under me right at daylight. I didn't jump anything on the way in that I know of. We're sitting on the edge of a power line and about 75 yards off a big crop field. We got a northeast wind this morning, so my wind should be blowing right into that crop field. About 100 yards that way, there's a tree line, probably a tree line that's 75 yards wide, cutting through the middle of that crop field to another section of woods. I got soaking wet this morning. I had to walk through a field of kudzu to get in here, about waist high. Hopefully those deer walk this transition line. It's right at 11 o'clock. I just got down out of the tree. I'm gonna leave my stuff in here. I plan on coming back in here this afternoon and hunting. I'm gonna slip out, grab a bite to eat, and come back in here. Try to be back in here around 1:45 or so.
Well, back in the saddle this morning. It's 5 o'clock. We've been on the road about 15 minutes. We're gonna head up here, get in the woods. I think I'm gonna go sit on another road bed. Cause that's where I happened to see deer the other day. We hunted all day yesterday and didn't see anything but a raccoon and a snake come out of the stand. So I think I'm gonna move a good distance and slip into that road this morning, and there's a transition line on that road. I want to sit on a thicket and then a hardwood bottom and then a road that's grown up in grass, and it's a big funnel for deer movement. So that's probably where we'll be this morning. Had to stop and get me an energy drink I'm pretty tired this morning, so, but we're gonna make it.
Alright, we're set up in the tree. We're right on this road bed. This road bed's about 5 yards to my left. The other day, I was in there, those deer come and fed in this road. I was gonna try to find a tree a little bit further off of it, but I didn't want to make a lot of noise coming in the dark. So I got in the same tree I was in the other day. We have an east wind. I'm on the T in this road. And there's a drainage ditch running down this road. And those deer like to walk that drainage. And behind me, there's a thicket. And there's an oak bottom right here. The other day I had a deer come in right behind me and I couldn't tell what it was. We didn't see anything yesterday, so hopefully we have better luck today. So far, we've seen that one buck. He come right under my tree. Looked like a little 2-year-old, 6 point. It was real early. Kind of hard to tell, but I think it was a 6. Young deer. I figured there would be another buck behind him, and there could have been, but I didn't see it. It's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna leave this stand a little early. I think I'm gonna stay here until 10, and then I'm gonna go scout another area for this afternoon.
Alright, it's October 11th, Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. I just got dropped off. We got a long walk in. I'm gonna go in here and hunt past where I hunted the other day in this oak bottom by this field. I had some deer come in on me right at around 11 o'clock whenever I was getting out of the stand. I plan on going about 200 yards past where I was the other day. Oh, it's gonna be beside a big field that has a section of woods running through the middle of this field. There's a creek down in the bottom. I plan on sitting on the fence line up the hill from that creek. There's deer usually travel that ridge a pretty good bit. I hadn't hunted in this specific spot. I've hunted close to it, and every time I'm in there I see deer up the hill. So we're gonna go in here and give it a shot. This drainage ditch is bone dry. This is where I seen them deer cross the other day. I'm gonna keep on going up this hill to this, closer to this big creek, and hope there's some water in it. If there is, those deer will hopefully be bedded down there on that creek. And our wind should be good. We should be able to catch them coming up off that creek at dark. Alright, I made it back here. I think I found my tree. I'm about 25 yards from that fence line, and I'm thinking they're gonna come off that creek that's down in that gully, come up and walk this fence line. Here's my tree. I'm gonna get right up there in all those limbs. That creek's over there, down a hill. And then they can walk this fence line. There's fields out there, and there's a funnel that runs right here. It's about 100-yard stretch of woods. And I think they're gonna funnel out and either come this way or go this way. There's a little opening right over here on the other side of this thick mess. I just had a doe and 2 fawns cut across that field. There's a section of this field that's grown up by that wood line that runs through the field. It's probably about an acre. That's grown up like chest high. I wouldn't expect them to come through that field this early. It's 5 o'clock and the sun is beating down on that field. So that totally caught me off guard. They got almost to the wood line and neither winded me or seen me. They were like 70 yards out. If she seen me, I don't know how the hell she did it. But she blew once and they took off running back to that wood strip. I may have come up this ridge too far. If all those deer cut through that tall grass. There is a whole family of coons in this tree I'm in. I kept hearing something, and I thought a squirrel was coming down my tree. And I looked up, and there was a coon looking around the tree at my tether. So basically just over head high. I'm glad they decided to turn around and go back up the tree. It's 5:20. I just had 2 more does come across this field. I can't get video of them because the tree's too big for me to pull the camera around. I think I come too far up this ridge because the last one's gone.
60 seconds, maybe a little less, and then turn and trot it back towards the wood line.
Well, we just got on the road. It's 8 o'clock. Ended up seeing 5 deer. 3 does, 2 yearlings, 3 coons. So I have never been scared of a coon, but they tried, a whole family of coons tried to come down the tree I was in, and I kept hearing something, and I was like, I know I'm hearing something, but I don't see anything, and I don't see any movement. Well, stuff started falling on me. And I look up, and by the time I realize what's going on, there's a coon. He has made it down to my tether. So he is about head high, looking at me around the tree. It was at this point we locked eyes, and we were both scared. For loss of better words. We were both scared. So he thought it was a good idea, and I did too. He turned around, went back up the tree with him and all his buddies, and they got in a split above me and sat there and stared at me the whole hunt, which is fine. I'm cool with that, because they were about 12 foot up the tree from me. Anyway, so what I did, I went on top of this ridge. I'd seen deer up there before, and I knew that's the way they were coming from. I was expecting them to walk that finger all the way through that field and then cut that finger, whether they come towards me or they go the other way. Well, my plan didn't go quite like I had hoped. They ended up cutting the edge of that field a little bit further down, about 60 yards on the edge of that field, where that field's growed up. It's growed up taller than I thought it was. And they cut the edge of that field and come out about 50 yards downwind of me. The first 3. Wind quit blowing. I had a northeast wind. Wind quit blowing. Real slow wind. The next 2 come out directly in front of me. Well, my wind slowed down so much it started drifting. And that doe was walking that fence line right where I expected him to come from. And then started bobbing her head, threw her head up in the air, smelt me, turned around, trotted back towards the wood line. Okay, well, hopefully if a buck comes out, he won't come that way. Well, right at dark, well, prime time, my wind changed, and it started blowing to my left. So I started hearing 2 different times, about 45 minutes apart, I could hear deer blowing in the up the ridge, right where I expected them to come from. Sounded like they were probably 100 yards, it's hard to tell. But with all that being said, we seen 5. The hunt did not go as planned. Typical, right? But we got to see deer, so I'm happy with that. We know they're in there. I would say I'm gonna try to go back and sit there whenever I have a better wind, but the wind was perfect before it swapped, and I was not expecting it to swap there. But it is what it is. We may try to go in there a little bit later. We're gonna give it some time to cool off. I'm not gonna be able to hunt tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. We're gonna get up and take the family to church. I may be able to do a morning and afternoon set Monday. I'm off work, but I have the AC man coming to work on my AC unit. So I told him if he was coming, he needed to come at lunch, because I want to get in the woods. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully they can get done quick. But overall, it's a good hunt. Got to see some deer. Happy with that. So we'll see what happens Monday. Alright, it's October 13th, 1:50 in the afternoon, Monday afternoon. Had to do some things around the house this morning. I wanted to get in the woods, but I had to get some stuff done. I'm gonna go hunt a new spot this afternoon. I haven't been in this area or scouted it or anything. I hadn't been getting a whole lot of pictures in the other spots we scouted. I've had a picture of one shooter buck in there, but he's middle of the night coming through, so we're gonna be 700 or 800 yards from that, the direction that deer's been coming through. I don't know if he's coming through this funnel or not, but we're gonna be in a funnel set up between a thicket. It's a funnel of hardwoods, I think it's about 90 yards wide. Hopefully there's some acorns dropping in there. I'm gonna have to scout my way in, figure out where we're gonna sit. But hopefully we can get in there, get set up, and see some deer. It's pretty hot this afternoon. It's in the mid 80s right now. I think right before dark it's gonna cool off to the high 70s. So hopefully we can get in there, take our time, and cool off before the deer start moving. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Last set of the weekend. We've been on them pretty good this week. Seen some deer. I seen one small buck. He wasn't a shooter, but come right under my stand. I seen a bunch of does, a bunch of yearlings, and I seen one deer. I couldn't tell what it was. Looked like a big deer. I could just see the rear end of the deer, and he disappeared into some brush at about 50 yards. But we're gonna go in here to a new area and see what we can find. If it looks good or we see some deer, we'll come back over here.
This over here to my left is a lot of saplings. It's a lot more thick. And this over here to my right, you got a lot of big timber right in here. It just widens up into like a 200, 300 yard wide block, funneling out to that power line. But this right here where I'm at is about 80 yards across, and then it gets even tighter down to there, going through that thicker cover. So I think we're right here. I think if these deer come through, we'll better catch them moving out. But we'll see. Alright, it's 3:55. I just got in the tree and got it set up. We're located off a power line in a wood pinch point that goes through a section of real thick pines, young pines. There's a creek through the middle of this pinch point. At the mouth of this, it's probably 120 yards. We came back into this pinch point about 200 yards. It narrows down to about an 80 yard width with this creek running through the middle of it. There's sections of this little creek that's still holding water. We had a little bit of rain about a week ago. But I wanted to come to the mouth of this opening where it kind of channeled down. I didn't see a lot of buck sign, historic buck sign in this area walking in. This is the first time I've been in here. I didn't go too far because I didn't want to push any deer out. I just wanted to get far enough we got to where it funneled down so we have a better chance of catching them traveling through here. There is some white oak still dropping in here.
Alright, well, we made it out of the woods. Didn't see any deer. Didn't see anything, really. Seen one squirrel, and that's about it. After I got in, there was not a lot of fresh sign. But it was too late to go find somewhere else to go. And, I mean, them deer can travel through those funnels and not leave a ton of sign. I wanted to give it a shot. Overall, we've seen 7 or 8 deer over the weekend, so it wasn't a waste of time for sure. Got to see some deer, so we'll get back after it next weekend. Hopefully we can get on one of these bucks. It's been slow finding some bucks this season so far, which I've only hunted 2 weekends, but did see one little buck. He wasn't a shooter. He was by himself. If he wasn't by himself, I didn't see the other buck, but we'll get back after it next weekend, see if we can't get on some deer. Just gotta keep after it. I think this afternoon made my 8th or 9th hunt. So you just gotta put hours in. Keep moving till you find them. It would help if we had a bunch of trail cameras out, but we just don't. So I'm just going off sign and finding spots on maps that look good and going in there and finding sign. So I don't know, we'll see y'all next weekend. Hopefully we can get on some more deer and we'll go from there. But appreciate y'all watching.